Hitch from 2005, directed by Andy Tennant, starring Will Smith, of course, Eva Mendes, Kevin James. Quick logline: a smooth talking man falls for a hardened columnist while helping a shy accountant woo a beautiful heiress. So I remember watching this movie in the theater when it came out, packed theater. Pretty sure I was in India then, yeah. And I don't have like a specific memory, but just like enjoying it and eating it all up and just having a good time. And then never thought about this movie ever since. I know this movie has a bit of a complicated reputation, at least in our current culture, and I can see that. And the movie, it's the movie is not a masterpiece. I want to clarify. The movie is a fun movie, but I think I put this as a masterpiece for Will because I really think that what I want from Will Smith as a movie star who's charmer, who's funny, has all the physical comedy, but also has that sort of bubbling kind of complicatedness, but it's still packaged in like a fun, exciting movie. This movie does that, and his character does that. Because on the face of it, you can say that what he's doing maybe is not right, and maybe he's, hoodwinking women because he's kind of grooming these guys to go out on dates with them. But there is something very earnest about the way he does it and how he's trying to do it. And I don't think very many people can pull that off because this character can be quite creepy actually if it weren't Will Smith, I think. And that's sort of his genius. And of course, the movie's really funny and they don't make him like this. Like, we're living in the golden age of rom-coms, right? And this movie doesn't have to be shot in this scale. It doesn't have to look this good. It doesn't have to have, fully fleshed characters. Like every single person in the movie, especially the three leads, Eva Mendes, Will Smith, Kevin James, they're all fully fleshed people. You feel for them, you understand who they are, where they are going, their complicatedness. Yeah, just rewatching it was like a great fun time. And I came off feeling that this movie is way better than what it should needs to be.
Hmm.
A, because of the way it's made, but I think a lot of it has to do with Will. What is your relationship with the movie Hitch?
So I had never seen this movie before.
Hmm.
I just got hitched for the first time. Yeah, was not hitched before. Which is, I don't know why. I mean, this is a big movie, and I don't know why I didn't end up going to see it at the time.
Ah,
Especially because I'm like a secret, or maybe this is the secret revealed Kevin James fan. Something about him always is funny to me. Paul Blart, I'll laugh at it. It's like his comedy works. So yeah, I had not seen it until now, and I found the movie great. It was
yeah.
really breezy, fun, like all the things you were saying about just that type of romantic comedy just really, really worked for me. The Kevin James stuff, the Will Smith stuff, Eva Mendes is great in it. Like, it's just a very enjoyable all around, fun, funny, but romantic movie with something on its mind too about just being nervous around women and how to kind of like put your best foot forward, but also be authentic at the same time. Yeah, it definitely totally worked for me. I think it is interesting the things that you were mentioning though about the problematic potential natures of it. And around this time, there was this book that was like really popular called The Game. That was basically like a book about pickup artists. Like this pickup artist thing
Mm,
became really popular around this time because of this book called The Game, which is definitely very manipulative, and it's all about kind of how to trick women into sleep with you, and all these sort of things that you can do. And I felt this movie actually wasn't really about that at all, and they made a
no,
very clear point to say, like, there's that whole sequence where that guy is trying to use Will Smith for that
right.
purpose. Like, oh, I want to sleep with this woman. I don't care about her, but I just, want to trick her off the list. And Will Smith gets really mad and gets violent with him
Hmm.
actually and says, like, no, that's not what I do. I'm here to like, help men find love. So I liked that they addressed that
They
because
deal with
very
it.
easily this could come across as, again, a pickup artist movie, which could have been popular and sort of at the time people might have been swallowing it a little bit easier. But I think this goes to the credit of just Will Smith, like I was mentioning before about his like star persona of like he just wouldn't, like he would never put himself in a role like that where he's like the mean, manipulative, like ladies man in like a bad way trying to help other guys pick up on women. Like, no, he's trying to give confidence to these men who desperately want to find love, find a relationship. They just don't really know how to project themselves with confidence. And that's sort of what he's instilling in them. And that's what he instills in Kevin James. It's not about some sleazy sex thing. So I think that was to me a sign of Will sort of putting his, maybe the script didn't have that scene in it originally. And he's trying to put his own sort of like
I don't
ethos in it.
know.
He's like, you know what? I no, I want to have a scene where we address this because that's not the kind of person that I want my star persona to be condoning. It really worked for me, this movie. I'm definitely all in on Hitch for sure.
As all things will. No, and then I think there's like a clever layer to the movie of yes, he's doing this in a very earnest way with his, clients to
Mhm.
help them find a better version of themselves. Lie to a degree, but it's all done in good faith to basically, be confident. But then what starts to happen between Will and Eva Mendes' character is also interesting because Will Smith, I mean, he's the guru doing this, right? He doesn't need
Mhm.
confidence, he has it, but yet he kind of gets caught up in projecting a different version of himself which is not true, and going overboard and that doesn't land very well. And
Right.
then Kevin James sort of ends up calling it out that actually you're the one who needs the most help because you've
Mhm.
been living behind this facade of being confident and bringing yourself out, but actually you're not being vulnerable at all. You
Right.
don't want the real thing. So it's very clever in terms of what the movie does with that. And once again, I think you see Will, right? Like on one hand, he's this charming, confident guy, but then in those moments with Eva Mendes, with whom he has great chemistry,
Yeah.
you see the dark side, you see the complicated side. When he gets violent with that guy, it's like, oh, whoa, are you about to slap him? Or what's going to happen? Like, so it's always been there. But I think to his credit, to the director's credit, is all handled very deftly. And it's a great New York movie too, I think. I mean, I never think of this movie in general, but not as a New York classic rom-com, but I think now I will actually because it was so fun and like you said, it has stuff on his mind.
Yeah, yeah, and they involve a lot of the New York, landmarks of the whole Ellis Island sequence in there, and them.
Hmm.
I guess I don't know if you could jet ski in the harbor. That was a little bit like, okay, was this movie originally supposed to be set in like Miami or something, or San Diego? Like that's just, but maybe you can do that. I don't know. I've not spent
Probably,
as much
yeah.
time in New York, but no, I think too. Yeah, there's a lot of his character goes through a very interesting arc as well. That obviously at the outset you kind of can see that. But that's what I like about this movie too. It's like, okay, I know what the beats are going to be,
Yeah.
and that makes is a comfort in that. And I want to see Will go through that journey as
Yeah.
a character. And it's and the Kevin James stuff too. I think I know exactly kind of where that's going to go, but that's fine. Like that's what I like out of romantic
Right.
comedy. It's this feeling of familiarity, and I don't want big surprises. Okay, it's a liar revealed plot line. I know what's going to happen with that. Eventually, Eva Mendes is going to find out, but then
Yep.
they're going to still get together, and that's what you want out of these movies.
You want that, but it's all about in the treatment and the character development,
Yes.
right? Like how is it handled? How does it really go? It's not about the story beats itself, it's about how it's handled, and they do a very good job with it. But yeah, that's why this is my masterpiece, because I think it captures the Will Smith persona, but it layers it with something dark and packages in a movie that's really fun, really
Mhm.
rewatchable. So yeah, that's my masterpiece.
I'm definitely glad you put it on the list because I don't know why I just never had seen this, and
Yeah, I'm
I'm
surprised.
I know, me too, actually. And I mentioned this on previous podcasts where any movie that ends with a curtain call, a dance sequence, or a blooper reel gets bonus
Oh
points.
yeah.
There's a dance sequence in this movie. I'm like, okay, now I like Hitch. If they can end with a big dance number at a wedding, like I'm done. So I have to give it bonus points for that on my own personal scale of how every movie should end with one of those three things.
That's pretty fun. Yeah.
Hi there, it's Alex. If you like the review and discussion Karan and I just had, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Movies That Shaped Us, to get full episodes. Every other Wednesday, Karan and I review a new release and then discuss 6 other movies made by that film's actor or director and how they shaped us. Subscribe right now or follow our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts via the link in the description below. Hope you join us for the journey.